Welcome back. In this video, we're going to set up the account view. So this view here. So once I click on account, that's the view that I want to display. What you see here, it just says tutorials at tutorials view. Then we have like my music, and that's pretty much it. So let's set up this page. Okay. Therefore, let's go ahead and just create a new UI. In here, Kotlin file class, file, and I'm going to call this one account view. Now this will be a composable, and this one will have an account view like so. There we are. All right. So what do I want to have inside of this view? I want to have a column with one row and another row. That's it. All right. So let's set up a column here, which is going to have a row, which in turn, well, let's start with those. So first I'm going to design this column a little bit. This column will have a modifier dot fill max size, and let's add padding of 16 dp as well. Let's import dp, and that will be my column. Then the row will also have a modifier, which will be modifier dot fill max width. So the column takes the entire space towards the top, and the row takes the entire width. So actually the column takes all directions. So that's what this max size does. And here I'm going to add horizontal arrangement to be arrangement towards, well, let's say space between. So I want items to be pushed next to each, apart from each other. Arrangement space between. Space between. There we are. So I'm using this space between so that I can have these two items next to each other in a row, then a little bit of, well, entirely space as much as possible, and then this button. So in order to achieve that, I'm going to create another row. All right. So this second row will not require any modifiers. It's just going to have my icon, which will take the image vector. So I need to make sure I'm importing the right one, the one not material 3. So the image vector will be icons.default.account circle, which is going to be this account circle again we've seen before. And this content description will just say something like account. All right, and then let me put that into a separate line. I'm going to have another one here, which will be the modifier, where I'm just gonna say modifier dot padding towards the end of, let's say, 8 density pixels. So I want to have a little bit of space here to the side. That's what this modifier does for me. So then you see there are two items on top of each other, and you can achieve that by using a column, right? We've seen columns before. There I have a text, which will just say pantutorials. Pantutorials. Okay, I'm just gonna call it pantutorials. That was my initial tutorials page that I also have. It's a German one. And then the other one is going to be add to tutorials EU, even though that's not the email address that you can access. So here I'm going to import text so that I can use it. And finally, so these will be these two parts, right? These areas here. And then next to the row, which will be spaced between, so it will be pushed afar, I want to add this little icon here, which will just be an icon button, which will have an on-click event. So let's import that real quick. And I'm not going to use the composable 3, but the material 3, but the default one. So it needs an onClick event, which I'm just going to make an empty onClick, and it needs a content, which needs to be of type icon. And I'm going to use the one with the image vector icons dot auto mirrored dot filled dot keyboard arrow right, and a content description of null. All right, so that will basically be this little icon right here. And now underneath, inside of this outer column, that's where I'm going to have another row, which will just have an icon as well as this text. So we have this row here that I just designed, and it's the content of the column. So this row here, and underneath I'm going to have another row. So we have two rows on top of each other, and one of the rows has another row inside of it. Yeah. So I'm going to give it a little bit of padding. Actually, let me just paste the code in here because there's nothing new here. It's all done before. So here I just need to create this drawable. So we've seen how rows work. We've seen how icons work. We know how texts work. And we also know how a divider works. So I'm just going to add a divider here at the bottom. Let me import it as well. Import the material divider. So it will be this line that you see here underneath. So now let me create this drawable IC music player, and I'm gonna get that through, again, tools and then resource manager, and then click on the plus button here, click on vector assets, and then here we can just use something with music, or let me try note. I can use music note or any other drawables that you prefer, player. And well, it seems like I can't find the one that I wanted to use, so I'm just going to use this music video. Now you can obviously use any one that you like. And how did I call it? Well, actually, let's just call it baseline music video 24. Let's just use this icon and use drawable baseline music video 24. So it should be under drawable. Let me see, drawable. Now it's still complaining. Well, that's because it doesn't have the import here. So import Android. So not the package, but EU music UI.R. Now let's import class R, and there we are. So now I have this music baseline icon for my account view. And actually I can get rid of this comment, this import, because it just took the entire path, and now it's fine. All right, so now we can use this account view. And where do we want to use the account view? Well, inside of our main view, when we want to navigate to it, which means we need to go to our navigation. Let me see, I put it here. We need to add that here, basically saying whenever you want to navigate to the account, and that's actually, there we are. So I need to add the account root, not the add account root. So in my navigation, that's why I'm going to say, hey, when you click on account, I want the account view to appear. So we need to import the account view, because add account never was supposed to be a drawable, right? A composable. It's really just a pop-up, but the account is actually one. So you see the add account root was the default root. Now we can actually say the account root will be the default root. So whenever we start our application, it should now default to the account view that we just designed. So this is the one that you can see here. So let's run our application and go over to see that we should be by default on this account view. So you see we are on the account view now. I can click on the account view now, but it will lead me to nothing. I can click on subscription and that will send me home because, well, the default route is home. So that's something we can set up next, the subscription UI. So you see here, it even animates how it comes in. That's beautiful. But now we have basically created our account view. Now, one thing that we are not doing correctly yet is taking care of the title. So let me see where that is. And that is because of the scaffold top bar. It's always text home. It never actually takes this title here. So instead, what we can do is we can use title dot value. All right, now let's refresh it. And now we should see the title being account because that's what we've set up in our screen page. So we see we are on an add account. Now let's click on subscription. Now we're on subscription and back to account. We're back on account. So that's what this title is taking care of. This is the current screen title. So it takes the view model to know which screen we're currently on. And we've had this screen KT file, which has the names here. So you see the title is subscription and the other title is account. So these are the titles that you can see here at the top now, because we're basically using our screen objects to load the title from there. All right, that it is pretty much it for this video. In the next one, we're going to set up the subscription. So see you there.